Hi, I'm Ryan Szymanski, curator for Battleship New Jersey Museum and Memorial. Today, we've got a prelude video for tomorrow's video on the Battle of Santa Cruz. Battle of Santa Cruz is one of 5 carrier actions during the Pacific War, and it is the 4th major sea battle during the Guadalcanal campaign. During the battle, the United States only had 2 operational carriers to fight the Japanese. Why is that? While the United States started the war with about a dozen carriers either in commission or close to commission, they didn't have them all in the South Pacific at this time. The first carrier, Langley, had been downrated to an aviation transport and could only carry float planes by this point, and she was sunk early in the war near Java. The next carrier, Lexington, had been sunk at the Coral Sea. Saratoga, poor Saratoga, because of her length-to-beam ratio, a very long and narrow ship with a single rudder, she wasn't very maneuverable, so every time she put to sea, she got torpedoed by a Japanese submarine. She had a very good torpedo defense, so she always recovered, but she sees very little action in the early war because she's always going into or out of port for repairs. So Saratoga, most recently, has been torpedoed in the waters near Guadalcanal, known to the Allies as Torpedo Junction. Next we have Yorktown, which was badly damaged at Coral Sea and then finally sunk at Midway. Enterprise, which up until the Guadalcanal campaign had a very successful career, and then earlier in the Guadalcanal campaign had been damaged. She has just returned to the Solomon Islands after being repaired. Next you have Wasp, whose loss we're going to talk about today. And then Hornet, who's still around. And then we get into the Essex-class carriers that are still building and in the Atlantic. And I'm, of course, forgetting Ranger, the 4th aircraft carrier, which never crossed over the Panama Canal and stayed in the Atlantic the whole war due to her small size. And so, at this point, the United States only has Enterprise and Hornet, which can fight in Santa Cruz. The reason for that is they lose Wasp in Torpedo Junction, September 15th, 1942. Wasp fell prey to a Japanese submarine, which launched perhaps the most successful attack of any submarine ever. The Japanese submarine I-19 managed to penetrate the destroyer screen of 2 carrier battle groups, a convoy, and a battleship and its escorting ships, managed to worm its way through all those destroyers and launch a single spread of 6 torpedoes. 2 or 3 of those torpedoes slammed into the carrier Wasp and disabled her almost immediately. Wasp had been built using excess treaty tonnage, so she wasn't a full-sized carrier, and she just didn't have the armor or reserve of buoyancy that the Yorktown-class carriers did, and so she did not survive the attack. Another torpedo went some 5 miles further away into another task force's escorting screen, and 2 of these torpedoes went there. One missed the destroyer O'Brien, who was able to see it and maneuver away from it. The second one, O'Brien did not see, and it hit that destroyer, causing what would become fatal damage. O'Brien was able to maintain power, get out of the area, and get temporary repairs, but a month later, while she was trying to sail from one temporary repair to another, her back broke and she filled with water, split in half, and sunk. A month later. So that's pretty impressive for a destroyer. The final torpedo from the spread went another 5 miles under Wasp, missed that ship, and caught the battleship North Carolina. one of only 3 fast battleships in the area. And that torpedo hit very near the spot where I am standing currently. I'm, of course, on Battleship New Jersey, but on the port side near Turret 1, about 20 feet below the waterline. And it was very unfortunate because that is the thinnest part of the torpedo defense on American battleships. As you get towards the bow, it narrows, so there isn't much room between the turret's armored barbette and the torpedo defense, which torpedo defense is more effective the deeper it can be. North Carolina had an even deeper torpedo defense and external belt than the Iowa class, but it just wasn't designed to take the size of warhead that the Japanese torpedoes had. We designed them to be able to take our sized warheads, so we assume that's about what all of our enemies would be shooting. And American torpedoes had pretty large warheads. The Japanese, of course, developed a far longer range, more deadly torpedo, and it was able to defeat the torpedo defense. Now, luckily, it wasn't fatal for North Carolina, and she was able to maintain formation, escorting the carrier Saratoga before she finally was able to go back for repairs. But this causes her to miss the next couple of actions. So, be sure to tune in tomorrow to see our video on the Battle of Santa Cruz. If you have any questions or comments, drop them in the comment section down below. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and check the description for ways you can support the museum. Thanks for watching.